I like people that push the envelope a little bit more. I like people that work with finding who they are as a designer and then put it out there. They don't care about the trends. It's like, this is who I am. And I love that so much that that's what I want to showcase.
You're listening to Thrive by Design, business, marketing, and lifestyle strategies for your jewelry brand to flourish and thrive. Let's get started.
Welcome to the Thrive by Design podcast, episode 176. Hey there, it's Tracy Matthews, the Chief Visionary Officer over at Flourish and Thrive Academy. And I'm thrilled today because I have a fun guest. I actually have a mystery guest on the show today, which is so funny. I have the blogger, A Thousand Facets, who prefers to stay a mystery woman. She doesn't want anyone to really know who she is, which I think is so funny. And we've been in contact for many, many years now, just like chatting about what's going on in the industry and stuff like that. And she is based here in New York. And we were talking. I'm like, I want to interview for the podcast or an influencer panel. And she's like, I don't do video. And I said, okay, that's fine. She's like, and I don't have a microphone. So I'm like, perfect. Come over to my apartment and we'll record here. And so we had this really fun interview. We talked a lot about what's going on in the industry right now, sort of what she looks for in designers that she wants to feature. And let me give you a heads up, when I tell you over and over again that the best way to stand out as a designer is to be innovative, well, she's going to confirm that for you because this is just, what happens. So she talks about some of her favorite designers, what she looks for in designers, and she also gives you insights on how you can get featured on her blog as well. So it's a really fun, a really great interview, very informative. So we'll dive right in right now. But before I do, I would love to take a word from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is FindingBox.com. FindingBox is an amazing supplier of custom engraved logo hang tags, beads, and custom jewelry pouches. They love independent jewelry brands. And in fact, they've supported so many up to this point. So definitely go and check out what they have to offer. They will give you fast lead times too. So if you are a last minute person like me and you ran out of hang tags for a big order, they can sometimes have hang tags completed and some of the products that they create in less than 24 hours, which is super awesome. You don't have to break the bank to order 1 million or thousands of units. They have small order minimums, which is amazing. And they'll also do free design revisions for your custom engraving. And they'll also supply you with a sample, which is really cool because we always want to see what we're getting before, it's shipped, right? Anyway, they are so generous. They'd love to offer you, the Thrive by Design listeners and the Flourish and Thrive Academy audience, 10% off your first order. You can head on over to FindingBox.com and place your order and enter the discount code F&T podcast. And this code is good until January 31st, 2019. Normally at this point, I would be doing a formal intro of our guest. But since A Thousand Facets is basically mysterious, she doesn't want anyone to know who she is, I can't do that. So you're just going to have to glean what you can from the interview as we dive in right here. Welcome to Thrive by Design. I have a very special guest here today, A Thousand Facets. And I can't even give you a name because her identity is a mystery. But anyway, I just want to welcome you. I don't even know what to call you. Should I call you?
Just 1,000 Facets is fine.
1,000 Facets. Yeah. I'm going to call you 1,000.
Or hey you.
Hey you. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So I wanted to have you on the show. I've met you a couple of times, but every time I've tried to get you to actually speak at a live event and stuff, and you're like, no. No one's supposed to know who I am. I like to fly under the radar. And so, I ran into you. You invited me to come see a showcase recently to look at some opals, Lightning Ridge opals, of a friend of yours. And we chit-chatted there, and we were just talking a little bit about how you got started. And I wanted to have you on the show today to just talk not only about the Thousand Facets blog, but to kind of hear a little bit more about your background. Like, what are you seeing happening in jewelry right now? Why jewelry? What are some of the trends? And kind of move forward from that. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Okay. So first questions first. You have this amazing blog and you're blogging frequently.
Yeah.
So tell us about A Thousand Facets.
Well, I had the blog almost 9 years already. It will be in
9 years.
Yeah, in February it's gonna be 9 years. I think it's February, March. So it's really exciting. So I've been in the industry for Around 15 years. I've loved jewelry for a long time. I've worked with, trends and jewelry. Like I work in the trend side of the world for a long time. And I've traveled overseas and I've seen mass production, and it's very, very depressing to me. So I started, I do a lot of research. I found so many great designers that nobody knew who they are. And I was talking to a coworker once and I said, how can I showcase these people? Because there's so much art out there. They're not trend. They're not popular. How can I showcase them? And then she suggested for me to start a blog. And I'm not as you see, I have an accent. I don't, English is not my first language. So I was very weird about it. And I asked her, how do I do it? And she's like, why don't you do it visual? And it took me a little bit to find my groove, but then I found it, and I've gotten support from different bigger bloggers at the time that really liked what I was doing, and it's just took off, and it's been snowballing ever since. So very excited about that.
That's so cool. So tell us a little bit more about your background in jewelry.
So I actually went to study fashion design. I wanted to be a clothing designer. I've loved fashion for as long as I was born. I used to do dresses for Barbies.
That's awesome. Well, you can't see our mystery guest, but you're dressed very fashionably, I have to say.
Oh, thank you. And, but a roommate of mine, again, another person is like, oh, why don't we start jewelry? And I'm like, why? I don't understand. Well, let's try it. So let's try it. It was very simple, beads on a string, very just nothing exciting. But then I started to get into it, studying it, researching, and I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with the stories that jewelry carries. Jewelry has an emotional feel to it, and you can buy a jewelry to create a memory. And I fell in love with it, and I've never looked back ever since. And I don't do fashion anymore.
I love that's so true. Jewelry can provide a memory or create a memory, and they have stories. Jewelry does have stories, and I think I just posted a quote about that on the Flourish and Thrive Instagram the other day. Something about your jewelry tells a story or something from Grand Story.
Yeah, I saw it. I really love that. I actually screenshot it.
It's good, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna post it on
share it. Okay, perfect. Grand is getting some publicity from us with our quote. It's awesome.
I really love it, and it's just something when you think about it. I wear a couple of antique pieces once in a while. One of my wedding bands is this Victorian, actually Georgian ring, and I absolutely love it. And I would love to know who wore it before me and what was the story of it. And it's something that you will never know, but it's so interesting to me.
Well, that's interesting because when I was married, my engagement ring was a vintage ring. And I remember my aunt saying what's the story behind it? I'm like, well, all I know is when it's from and the era. And she's like, well, let's make up a story of who owned it before. And she was like, they met on a cruise ship. And then it was this.
Hopefully not the Titanic.
Well, the ring survived. So. But it was just fun to kind of fantasize about who wore it before and what the story was and why was it in the shop and all that stuff.
Yeah, I have a spinner pendant, and it has a picture of two people, and it's just a tintype. And I just want to know them, and I want to know who they are. And I love seeing them, and I just sometimes make names for them and a little story.
That's amazing. So tell me about the jewelry that you're wearing now. We can't see it, but I'll be taking pictures of your hands shortly. But
so I have a Victorian turquoise neck bracelet from Loyola Revives that I actually love a lot. It's over 100 years old, and it's
beautiful.
Yeah,
who's it by again?
Or
the vendor?
Loyola Revives. She's in
Loyola Revives.
I believe it's Ukraine or something like that.
Okay, cool.
I'm not sure. Variant subjects.
Yes, variants. Amazing. I love variants objects.
I love variant subjects.
Beautiful.
My pendant is from Kimberly Brown.
And the opal is from?
The opal is from Asian 17. It was the first opal he ever gave me as a present. So it has a lot of, this is what happens. It's a story. So It has a lot of memories for me. And then I chose Kimberly Brown to make the pendant for me because she really believes in him too. And she's been one of the people that really support him from the beginning. So I really like that. I've recently pierced my ears.
I know. I'm going to have to talk to you about that after.
Yes, I have a great piercing. So I have hoops from Rachel Adderley, tiny huggies from Melissa Joy Manning, and these little studs that I absolutely love from S. Diamane Studio, also known as Shane Diamane, who I adore.
They're beautiful. All of it. I'm always like obsessing about all the jewelry you're wearing every single time I see you. Cool. So you have a background in jewelry. You love jewelry because of the stories. You're also a designer, which we can't really talk about it, but you're a designer too.
Yes. But, no, like I've designed this basically it's fast fashion and thing. I used to do fast fashion, not anymore, but I used to do fast fashion and like I said, it's very depressing, but I really like handmade. It's just like, but the fact that I work at fast fashion, it make me adore handmade. And for me, that's only thing that I own is handmade jewelry. The only thing that I buy is handmade jewelry as much as I can.
Okay, so you started the blog and you started a visual platform.
Yes.
So it's mostly photos, not a lot of words. And you are out there to kind of support handmade, independent jewelry brands, get some exposure and eyeballs on their work. So how do you pick the people?
Everything has to have a voice. A voice is very, very important for me. I like people that push the envelope a little bit more. They don't play it safe for the most part. I like people that work with shapes, work with finding who they are as a designer and then put it out there. They don't care about the trends. They don't care about if it's fashionable or not. It's like, this is who I am. And I love that so much that that's what I want to showcase. Like, I know what's happening on the trends, of course, and I know what's going on out there in the world, but I personally am not a trend follower because I like to be a little more maverick. But I do think that there's this group of people that are beat up their own drum and just try new things. And that's the people that I like to showcase. But it needs to be beautiful too. It cannot be just like...
It can't just be like super funky and out there and cool, but like not...
Exactly. Yeah. It needs to be beautiful.
Have you ever featured anything that's not very functional?
Yes. Oh, definitely.
Yeah, lots of things.
Yeah, there's like this, usually European designers tend to be a little more out there. And like, I know that I posted also this, I believe this Indian designer, and she had like, everything was like, it was a long time ago. So it's like this meat? Yeah, it was not meat, but it was like the print. But it was so cool that I had to do it. And then there's this designer from Israel. His name is Gregory Larin. And he does really funky stuff. And like he does anatomical hearts. And I adore anatomical hearts.
Oh, I've seen those before. I think I saw those.
Yeah, every time for Valentine's Day, I have to put one of his pieces in my Valentine's because it's an anatomical heart. And I love that. And he's just, again, he pushes the envelope, but some of his pieces are just very gorgeous. But it's just whatever speaks to me very much.
I love that. So how do you find the people? Is it just, are you searching Instagram all the time? Or is it more that you're walking shows or?
Everything. It's everything about, all about. I do a lot of research online. I do Pinterest. Sometimes I'm looking for one designer and then 3 more will come. They're in the same show together or they were showcased in one place together. So it's just, everything is just like a little tree and then it just keeps growing. And I have a backlog of hundreds of designers that I'm like waiting to showcase.
That's awesome. So you have like content for days.
Yeah. Oh, I have content for months. Like if I don't have anybody, if I have like 5 designers, like I usually pick 5 designers a week. That's the way that I handle things. And if I have 4, I'll just go to Pinterest, go to my Instagram. I have my saved photos. I just look for or go to my archives and just see like what a designer that I haven't posted in a long time, what is they're doing now. And then if I like what they're doing, I will repost it.
So I have a question for you. When you started your blog, I'm sure that you weren't batching content because that's what we call it. Like you're getting a bunch of stuff in the queue in advance so that you're not having to do it every day because you have other stuff that you have going on. How did you kind of figure out to do that?
It took me a long time to do it. It took me like almost a year to figure out because I will get home and just post it. And then one day I saw, there was like this queue and I'm like, what is that?
You can like load them up.
And I was like, oh, and my brain exploded. And I was like, this is the most amazing thing. So I just do it on Sundays. I post everything on Sunday and I let it go during the week. And I just, monitor it and just let it go.
That's cool. Okay, awesome. So we were talking before and you're going to be walking a show in London. Yes. Why are you excited about it? And what's the name of the show?
Well, the show is the Goldsmith Fair and it's just an incredible show. I've been working with them for, I gotta say, maybe 2 years, maybe 3. And I am very good friends with most of the designers that showcase there, which a lot of them I know in person and I love. The thing that I love about that show is that, first of all, it's a retail show. Mm-hmm. So everybody can go. It's open for the public. You have to pay, I think it's £15 to get in. But you can see the most creative people in the industry in London. They all have to live in London in order to showcase.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Cool.
And the thing about that show is that you have to do some sort of metalsmith there. I have a friend that I adore. Her name is Emily Hastings. She does resin, but she uses metal with the resin. So she's eligible to go to that show just because of her work. And her work is absolutely stunning. And just like the European people tend to push the envelope a little bit more. So there's some pieces that are very interesting and it's just a lot of creativity there. And I'm very, very excited to walk it. I've never walked it before. So it's very I'm going to be like a girl in a Christmas morning.
Yeah, you're going to have pretty much the rest of the year is going to be all from
exactly.
London.
Pretty much.
That's so funny. Okay, so tell me about I know you said earlier that you don't really follow trends, you follow what interests you. Mm-hmm. But what are you seeing when you're walking these shows and kind of scouring images on Instagram or wherever, Pinterest? What are you seeing coming up as common themes or common things that are happening on the market these days?
One theme that I've been trying to make it just move on a little bit is the mini. Everything is super tiny. Everything is very mini. Stacking rings. I love them. They're beautiful, but I feel like a lot of people are just using it as a crush. Mm-hmm. Because it's what's selling, but it's I want them to try a little bit.
Beef them up
a little. Or just and I understand the gold price and I'm very sensitive about these things, but I feel that sometimes you walk a show and then you see them all together. It's come on, dude. This do it.
Everyone has the same
exactly.
thing. Yeah. Gold-hammered stacking rings.
Exactly.
Gold-hammered hoops. I think I'm wearing gold-hammered hoops that I made these 15 years ago.
But I do like just a lot of the earrings that are happening right now. There's a lot of emphasis on the ear, which I really like. And
it's all about the ear.
I know. It's all about the ear right now. And not in layers. They're still happening, which is very interesting. I always thought it was going to just move on, but it's not. It's still pretty strong. But I was liking when I went to New York Now and Millie they just happened. I did like that there were some designers that were using bigger gemstones. They were going a little bolder. 10,000 Things, for example, did this gorgeous chandelier earrings that were all gemstones hanging from each other, and it was a dream. My heart.
They are just incredible. The stuff that they do is just they've been around for a long time too. It's just the detail.
But it's just amazing. But I saw a lot of people just trying a little bigger with the ears, working that a little chandelier, which is for me, it's
fun.
A little fun.
I love it.
Just beautiful gemstones that I always I have a radar for gemstones, so I saw beautiful blue screens are always good. Somebody like Jamie Joseph that uses so many textures in her gemstones is always good to see. Let me see what else. And just textures, interesting textures that are happening in metal. And I love that because what can you do for metal that is not the same hand polish or hammer or whatever? What can you do to it? And I've seen really interesting people are working with interesting looks on textures for the metal, and I'm loving that. So that's something that you guys have to play with it.
Okay, awesome. So texture the metal, do something different. Use your rolling mill with some random stuff. Roll it through.
Try different things. Try sand. Try just like a thicker hammer, or just, I don't know. I've seen so many people are just trying so many different things. It's just very fascinating to me.
That's awesome. Okay, so what else is exciting you right now? I mean, I know what's going on, but I know you're like nervous to talk about it.
You put it on the spot.
I know.
In what sense?
So let's talk about the opals.
Okay.
Let's talk about the opals, and without revealing your identity. But
well, there was a year and a half ago, pretty much, almost, a year and 3/4. I met this young opal cutter on Instagram. I thought he was an older guy with a hobby.
And that's the funniest part.
Yes.
Because I met him recently, and we're both like, he's so cute.
And I was going to buy an opal from him. We started talking, and he, after like a week and a half or talking, or 2 weeks, he tells me that he's a college student paying college by cutting opals. And my brain exploded, and I loved that story. I'm all about stories. I'm all about interesting stories. And I asked him, send me some pictures. I will post about you. He sent me some photos. He got some followers. He got some orders, and he was coming to New York. And he asked me to have lunch. And I said, sure. But instead of having lunch, why don't we have a little trunk show?
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. And he is pretty game for everything. So, and we had
he's a chill dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Chill dude.
We did a trunk show. It went really well. Like, some people were skeptical because it's like, who's this guy and what are you trying to do? But he got some actual customers from that. And we've been doing trunk shows, and we've partnered maybe like in May, and I handle his sales side now, and I'm very proud of him. He's grown a lot. For a 21-year-old, he's incredible talent.
Well, let's tell who this mystery opal dealer is.
Well, his username is Ancient17.
Ancient 17s at Ancient 17.
Yes.
And his name is Lauren.
His name is Lauren, and I've become his jewelry adopted mom.
I know, right? So he has amazing stuff. I've already purchased, I think, 6 or 7 opals from him for customers. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 5. Yeah, like 7, because I kept some for myself. Can never go and just buy them for other people.
Well, imagine me having like 40, 50 opals at the time in my house, and I'm like looking at them every night.
What did I do with this?
And I'm like, oh my God, they're so beautiful. But it's been a fun journey. It's been like the most rewarding journey I've ever had in my life, to be honest with you, just because I've seen somebody grown from like very, very small, and now he's working with really incredible designers, and they're buying from him, and they keep buying from him, which is amazing. And not only that, like, I've seen just where he started with cutting the opals, and now the abilities have improved so much, and like everything is looking like it used to be beautiful, and now it's just stunning. And it's such I feel very, very proud.
That's so amazing, because it's a really fun story, and you're kind of using 1,000 Facets to
build,
to help build that, which is great. But at the same time, we were talking about where the opals come from, because I think that's the most important part. Everyone's always talking about ethical sourcing and how can you find responsible mining. Mm-hmm. And the opals are Lightning Ridge opals.
Yes.
They're talk about the mine and the people who are running the mine and all that
stuff. The mine is in, like I said, Lightning Ridge opal, and it's owned by 2 people that are very environmental, like they're very serious about the environmental practices in getting the opals from the ground. And it's very important to them. So I like that Lauren partnered with them, because he's starting ecopaleontology too. So for him, the environment is very important. Like, even he does a lot of excavation as well. So he understands the ethical practices. So he wants to make sure that the people that he works with also create ethical practices. So he tries to keep as green as possible when he works with his opals.
Yeah, and so he's cutting them here in the U.S., like probably in his dorm room.
That is 100% in his dorm room.
Hope he doesn't have a roommate.
He has 2 roommates.
Oh my God, they must love him.
Yeah, but he has like a a specific area to cut. But his roommates are very good with him. Like they are part of the, like they help him and they like all the posts and they're very supportive with him. And it's really nice. It's a good friendship, which I like.
Yeah. So that's really cool. So it's funny because I feel like things like happen serendipitously before you came over because you live in New York, and we just decided to record this podcast in my apartment. So if it's a little bit more echoey today, we are not sitting in the closet because only one person will fit in the closet, but we are sitting in the living room. But before this, I had a call with Ethical Metalsmiths and the Chicago Responsibility Conference to sort of partner and help them with what they're doing in the space right now. And we were talking about where the opals come from and how Lauren is doing such a great job bringing Lightning Ridge opals to the United States and beyond with his cutting skills and all that stuff. So for all of you looking to resource responsibly, like here's your resource because it's completely traced from mine to source. So, or from cutter to source, where it's being cut in his dorm room here in the United States.
And
he's wearing a mask and it's not child labor.
Exactly. It's not child labor. He is very responsible too in the way that he cuts them. And if you do the ancient style sides, like there's two sides, there's ancient 17 and ancient 17 cells. I'm the one that managed the cell side. So you'll be talking to me for the most part. Like There's like 90% chance that you're talking to me.
Yeah. Awesome. So I almost blew your cover, but 1,000 Facets. Thank you for being here today.
Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I hope, it was a good.
It was awesome. So I want to ask you something. Okay. First of all, where can people find you? And then also you're probably going to be stalked by like thousands of designers now trying to get their products featured. What's the best way to be featured on your blog?
Well, people do contact me. Usually what I do is I scout the designer and see if it's right for them. And it's not, if I don't pick you, it's not that you're not good. It's just, it's not right for the page. Because sometimes, I want to be fair and like my following base is very specific and I've tested through certain things just to see how they react. And if something is not really specific, they will not go for it. So I have a very specific eye with the things that I look for. But you can always email me 1000facets@gmail.com. You can go to my Instagram 1000facets, DM me. I will look at your page and see what happens. It's always good. What can you lose?
Yeah. What can you lose? Might as well reach out. And if you don't hear back, don't take it personally.
Exactly. Don't take it personally. I'm a little busy sometimes.
Yeah.
And my blog is 1000facets.tumblr.com. So you can go to the archives. There's thousands of incredible designers, and it can give you an idea of what I like to post and see if you fit in that.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening today. Wasn't that a fun interview? I'm wondering if any of you are ever going to be able to guess who 1,000 Facets is. Anyway, I want to sign off right now. But before I do, I want to thank our sponsor, Packaging Specialties. You can get more information about them over at the show notes at flourishthriveacademy.com/episode 176. Thank you so much for listening. And if you're liking the show and you're enjoying it, we would love for you to share this with your friends and also give us a little rating and review. That way we know how we're doing and we can keep delivering amazing content every single week. Thanks so much. It's Tracy Matthews signing off for now. Until next time, see you soon.